If you are here to learn about how to convert from decimal to hexadecimal or how to convert from decimal to binary numbers and want to learn about these methods, so this video is for you. I will tell you the most easy method that can be used to convert from decimal to hexadecimal numbers. So let's begin with this example. I'm not going into the theory because you can read that from books or like, from literature, from internet. What I want to teach you is the mathematics behind converting from decimal to hexadecimal or binary numbers. So let's begin with this example. We have a number 204, and that number is in decimal. So this number 204, this is in decimal, and we want to convert it to hexadecimal. So it is really easy. We need to understand that hexadecimal number system has 16 digits. So what I mean by digits is that in decimal we have these 16 numbers. I'm saying 16 because we are including 0 in this system. So when 0 is included, if you count all of these are 16 numbers. But for hexadecimal, I used the word digit because what happens is that after 9, we have A, which represents 10, we have B, which represents 11, and so on. So these are actually the digits of hexadecimal number system. So what we need to do here for converting from decimal to hexadecimal number system is to divide the number by 16 because there are 16 digits in hexadecimal. So this is the first step. We divide 204 by 16 and we get 12 remainder after that. How we are going to do that, I will show you this step by step in the next slide. So after this division, what happens is that we need to look in this table. So 12 in decimal here, if you look over here, that corresponds to C. So this 12 becomes C, this one, okay? And after that, we have remainder of 12. So that 12 becomes this C. If this was 13 or 14, let's say, then this C would be different. We will look at these numbers, 13 or 14, and then see if it corresponds to which digit or alphabet in this case. So if it was 13, we would write D. If it was 14, we would write E. So let me solve this example mathematically stepwise and see if we can derive this answer. Let's go to this number, which we are going to solve uh, mathematically and derive how we can convert from decimal to hexadecimal. So the number was 204. Okay, this was in decimal. So simply what we need to do is we need to divide this 204 by 16. Why we are going to divide it by 16? Because hexadecimal has 16 digits. So let's say we are going to divide it by 16. So this is 20. So 1, we know this, 16. 16 times 1 becomes 16. So this becomes 4, this remainder, and this 4 will appear over here. Now what we are going to do is 16 times 2. So this becomes 32, and we are left with 2, 2, and 1, right? So what we can do is that this 204, this can be actually written as, let me change the color. So this 204 can be written as 16 times 12, this 12, right? 16 times 12, and then we have this remainder 12. Okay, so we have broken this number into hexadecimal compatible numbers. Why I'm using this compatible word? Because these numbers are less than 16. So when we convert to any decimal number system, it should be less than that. So for this we had 16 numbers, and here this is 12. So we can see that 12 is less than 16. So now this 12, now this 12, what we are going to do is we are going to write this 12 and 12. So these are actually single digits. Don't look at these like 12 number, which has 2 digits. Look at it like single digits of hexadecimal system. So in hexadecimal system, what happens is this 12 corresponds to C. Okay. So for this 12, we will write C. For this 12, we will write C again. So we have converted 204 from decimal to hexadecimal. So 204 in decimal is equal to CC in hexadecimal. Okay. So this is the answer. And the first step is simple. We have to simply divide the number in decimal system by the maximum number of digits of any system. So we are working with hexadecimal, so we will divide it by 16. And I did a simple division here, which we do and which we learn in high school. So this is a simple division. 16 times 1 becomes 16. So then we have remainder 4. This 4 comes down over here. So it becomes 44. Then I multiply 16 with 2. So this becomes 32. You might be asking why I did not multiply this with 13. So if I multiply this with 13, so 16 times 3 is actually bigger value than this 44. So we cannot do that here because the answer will be in negative. So when answer will be negative, we cannot look in this table here on the right hand side. So this is a simple conversion from decimal to hexadecimal. Now let's do another example because in the previous example, our answer was CC, so it might be a bit confusing. So let's solve another example. So we have 245 in decimal and we want to convert it into hexadecimal. I have already written the answer over here. Let's see if we can derive that. So we have 244, 245, sorry, 245. So first step is divided by 16. Okay. So now this 2, it is smaller than 16. So I will consider 2 digits. 24, it is a larger value than 16. So what I can do is that 16 times 1. Because if I do 16 times 2, it will become 32. So I don't need that. So 16 times 1, this becomes 16. And now when we do the subtraction, this becomes 8. And this 5 will come as it is over here. What is the next step? Next step is this is 5, okay? So this is 5. Now I'm going to multiply this 16 with another digit to obtain the closest value to this. If I do 16 times 2, this will be 32, right? So 85 minus 32, this will be actually 3 and 5. So this will be 53. So this value is still larger than 16, so we don't need that. We have to be as close as to this so the remainder can be less than 16. So what we can do is that we can multiply this with 4, 5. So I can see that if I multiply this with 5, what I will get is 80, right? So now the remainder becomes 5, which is less than 16. So we have completed the division because we obtained the last remainder to be less than 16. Here the remainder was 85, which was larger than 16. So we kept dividing the number with 16. As soon as we get the last remainder less than 16, we will stop over there and then write our answer. So we can write our answer like this. So 245 becomes 16 times 15, right? 16 times 15 plus this remainder 5. Okay, so we got this answer. So we got this answer. We have this 15 and this 5. Now we simply have to look in this table. So 15 in hexadecimal, in decimal corresponds to F in hexadecimal. So we can write this as 16 times F plus, and 5 corresponds to 5. So there is no difference over here. We can see. So this becomes 5. So what happens is that we got our final result, which is 245 in decimal is equal to F5 in hexadecimal. Okay, so this is our answer. And we can clearly see over here that the answer is correct. Okay.